I had a teacher at the Dub, and he didn't give me a grade because I wouldn't let him suck my. So
What?
my experience was traumatizing. I was tased by the police 3 times actually.
Modern day policing started from like the slave patrol from the 1700s in the Carolinas, it was built off the back of slave patrol.
One thing about where I come from, I can't speak of other parts of Africa, a cop is going to pull you over just for whatever. People are literally getting killed and robbed by cops.
I don't know if you've encountered or seen any of these animal rescue videos. They're always extremely patient. Why can't you just exercise the same level of restraint when you're dealing with a fellow human being?
Is it that you guys are just bloodthirsty, or you guys are just some vampires, or like when you kill somebody, like how do you even sleep at night? Like why do they shoot or kill?
I used to be the type that would approach cops. I didn't know you weren't supposed to do that until one night I met a certain man and it was like, freeze right there. And I was like, what? And he pulled out a gun.
You go to a shooting range, they're always telling you aim for the broad part. So everybody's looking for your chest.
And then I remember being mocked by an American cop. It's time for the Tribe Africa.
Woo!
We have a very special guest in the house.
Mhm.
I will let him do the honor of introducing himself to us.
I'm Jerin, right? I try to learn everything I can. So we just here to make the world a better place, like a fair and better place is my whole point. Like we all got to get on the same page. I don't care what color you are, even though that does make a difference. I don't care what's your background, poor, rich, all of that, but it all got to come down to equality, and everybody got to have a fair chance at life, liberty, and happiness.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jerin. So, what was your experience like that brought you to this moment of realization?
My experience was traumatizing. It happened to me 3 times actually. Where I was tased by the police. They took my motorcycle the first time. He tased me, held me at gunpoint. So the first time it was in Mississippi, me and a friend rode out to Mississippi to go enjoy ourselves, visit another motorcycle club. And I ran a red light, quote unquote. So he got behind me. I didn't see him. We was going to the gas station. Um, but we waited at this red light for because we got lost. We in the town that we don't know. So we waited at the at the stoplight while I put it in my GPS on the phone. And I was like, all right, Mac, I found the spot. Mac said, man, I gotta go and stop and get gas now. Cool. Mac made the light, but I was messing with the phone. He pulled off. So by the time I clicked in the gear, the light was just changing and I made it. Nobody was even close to me at all. So we pull into the gas station and the cop pull up behind me and just start making demands. And I'm like, bro, like calm down. I'm finna go to the bathroom. I'm gonna come right back, And he was like, nah, if you don't get back on the bike right now, you going to jail. And I'm like, going to jail? Nah, man, I'm not. I just told him, like, I'm not about to pee on myself. Like, it's not gonna happen, bro. We came here to do something. I'm not trying to disrespect you. So anyway, I walked off from him and said I'll be back. And he pulled out his taser, said he finna tase me. So I turned around with my hands up. He shot me in the leg with the taser. I pulled the taser out, turned around, walked in the gas station, told the teller that was there, ma'am, I'm just trying to use the bathroom. I'm coming right back out. I don't mean you no harm. Went in the bathroom. I had enough respect for this man to use the bathroom, wash my hands, and then come out the bathroom. So I came out the bathroom. He never did come any closer in the store. He stood at the door with his gun out, waiting for me to come out. And so I just stood there with my hands up for another, we'll say 2 minutes, just saying, don't shoot me. I told you what I had to do. Don't shoot me. His constituents came in. They wrestled me down to the ground. He tasing me while I'm the guy who initially with the stop. He tased me on the ground. They put me in handcuffs, took me to the car, held me in jail for the weekend. I think I got out Monday or Tuesday or something. Got out with no bond. They hit me with 4 charges. They charged me with my first DUI, and disregard for traffic device. But I got the seal of approval. All of these were dismissed, case dismissed, motion by the state to dismiss, by the state, not by Jerin to dismiss, because I came with my paperwork. So I wrote them an affidavit. After a year of going back to court, it gave me time to learn the law, learn their procedures. And so it says motion by state to dismiss due to lack of complaining witness. State unable to go forward, granted. So, like I say, in criminal cases, if they can't bring an injured party, like if I would have slapped somebody or hurt somebody by running that light allegedly, then they got every right to try to do something to me if I was drunk, or they took the drug charges off because they said that I was, because I pulled the Tased out, they said that I was drinking or on drugs or something. But um I was just kind of built for stuff like that. I mean, you could shoot me with a taser at least one time. Now, the second time they did it, they hit me in the spine when I was trying to run from them, get away from them. And I was flopping on the floor like a fish then. But they hit me twice that day. So, I mean, I can't like make it up. Like, and everything gets dismissed. It drove me to drinking. It drove me to thoughts that I usually have thoughts like that,
I just wanted to, it's quite tragic that you had to experience that.
Yeah.
While mine may not have been as deep as yours, I've faced I don't know, I wouldn't, maybe it's unlawful, but I've been harassed by the police before in Indiana around 1 a.m. I was scared, I was pulled over and all of this. It wasn't as bad as yours, but this is something that is typical. This is something that happens to almost every black man in America. And I keep telling people like me, and when I say that, I'm not referring to my skin color, but immigrants in America, especially Africans in America, that our experiences are not the same. First, when the cop pulls you over and he, asks you for your name, or the moment you open your mouth, they can tell that you're an immigrant. So in many cases, we do not get the same kind of treatment African Americans get. And so there's no prejudice on that. I understand that it's a struggle being, I'm not going to use the word black this time because I'm going to distinguish between Africans in America and African Americans. There's a struggle for being an African American in the hands of the police. Now, the police have argued that it is for the fear of their lives because of all the stereotypes of violence that makes them come prepared. Like, many times the issue shouldn't escalate to the point where you're having to use maximum force. Somebody has been restrained, like in your case. You want to ask a question, why are you tasing the person at that point when he's already under, hold? When I moved to New York, I joined the community thing that was, liaising with the police. And I said, where I come from, my country, Nigeria, if I get stopped by the cop, there's nothing barring me from coming down to have a conversation with that police officer. I can pull, once I get pulled over and they ask for my papers, I can come down and have a conversation. Now, I probably spent 30 something years in America, come to Nigeria, come to America, and the first encounter I have with the police, I probably would want to get down as well to have a conversation with the cop. But it's not stated as illegal, but it's almost illegal in America for you to want to approach the officer while you're being interrogated. So when you say ignorance is not an excuse in law, what about someone who doesn't know? Whose responsibility is it to communicate what the law says for me to understand? That's one question. But what I want to ask you is, what is the justice you seek for yourself? And what are the reforms you would like to see such that African Americans, and by extension, Africans in America, do not go through the trauma? Because you're traumatized. I can see it in you got emotional at some point when you were telling your story. And I was moved as well because, mine wasn't even half as bad as yours. And you said it's happened to you 3 times. What is the justice you seek?
I want the truth out, you know. If the truth gets out, then nobody could tell lies. Like if our past was a lie, that means the present is a lie. And if we realize that the past was a lie and we can correct it in the present, that means it'll change our future. So like when I say we can change the past, we won't change it, but we'll correct it so our future will be better. So I don't want I had my first grandson on my birthday. Um, he ain't finna go through this. I don't want my friends to go through this. I don't want I don't want white people to go through this. I don't want anybody to go through this.
Modern day policing started from like the slave patrol from the 1700s in the Carolinas, North Carolina, South Carolina, all that, here in the States. So I think from that 1700, when the modern day policing that, came up, was built off the back of slave patrol. You see, the orientation and this slave patrol men at the time were, people of very low means. They were probably like the poorer people in the society, also being used to target also the poor struggling slaves at the time. Why the bourgeoisies and the leaders sat on top and just pulled the strings and made things happen because they didn't want people to revolt against them and probably kill them and take their wealth because hey, you're enslaving these guys and making them live like animals. So it's at the end of the day, the everyday the everyday person is a victim of the system. To an extent, also the police might also be a victim. Some of them, or maybe the systems, might also be a victim of the system itself that has put them the way that they are and has made them understand that look, if you go against these people, you give you a raise. Park says something about pull the trigger, kill a nigga. You know how it goes. So and he's a hero. You know what I'm saying? So if you do this thing, you can lock this number of people in jail. You can bring them to the justice system and they get convicted. You get some level of promotion. So it's like dog eat dog. We're just all here fighting ourselves. So if the cops can see from that perspective that look, what you're going through, I'm going through the same thing too. I'm just only trying to survive, like I'm not trying to step on you, don't step on me. We can all live in peace, I don't have no problems with you trying to do your job. I'm trying to go by my daily business and find my daily bread and help my people, help my family. That's all what we're here for at the end of the day. The person who is pulling the string is not you, it's not me. I don't know if this has happened or I stand corrected, right? I think the police force here needs a whole new reorientation, the conversations need to happen, the dialogues needs to happen. There needs to be like a whole new reorientation. For starters, right? I can't understand why, as most times when I see the cops here in the US, shoot at people, they shoot to kill you. They're not shooting so that you have a day in court. Like I'm like, why? Like, is it like it's like you're chasing after a rat or you're chasing after like a raccoon or something? Like they're shooting to kill. They're not shooting for you to have a day in court. And that's why some parents tell their kids that look, you know what, do not argue with them. Just do what you want them, what they ask you to do, so that at least you can be alive and have your day in court. You know what I'm saying? Because if you try to prove you're right, I get it, you're right, but a dead man cannot talk. He can't speak. At the end of the day, even if you they pay your family 400 million USD. You know what I'm saying? You're still gone. Your wife, your partners, your kids, everybody misses you, regardless of the money. So whatever it is, I get it. You might be right at that point in time. Try and make peace and see how you can get your day in court. Then maybe you can be alive and still get compensation. Because I think the police in the US shoots you to kill you. They never shoot you to even say they want to like find out to destabilize you. And I mean, to an extent, I guess I would say I'm grateful for your life that you're still here, even speaking with us. Because it might have gone anyways, it might have gone south, real quick, so it's just crazy. There needs to be like a reorientation. Why do they shoot to kill? And I hope a cop is watching this, because I want to ask a policeman, why is it that you guys deliberately shoot to kill? You guys never even shoot to say, let me shoot the guy in his leg or shoot him somewhere and let him be alive to even. Why is it that you guys are just bloodthirsty, or you guys are just some vampires, or like when you kill somebody, like how do you even sleep at night? Like why do they shoot to kill? So I don't know if that's what they tell them in their training school, that just kill them. Or what? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not there. But I hope a cop is watching this and they can say this is the reason why we shoot to kill. Why we never shoot you to destabilize you, or to de-escalate the situation and make sure that okay, we can have a conversation as humans. I saw the video of the lady, the old lady who the cop went to her house. I think her name is Rebecca. I can't remember her name. Was it Rebecca?
She had
And
a pot.
she had a
The
pot
lady
of
with
hot
the
water.
pot, and they shot her in the head.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
even looking at that lady, right? She can't. There is nothing that she's gonna do to that cop guy that is gonna. Even if she pour the hot water on the cop guy, the hot water cannot even kill you that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, so why do you have to kill the lady? Like, why do you have to kill like she's some pest or like she's such like that was so heartbreaking for me personally. I couldn't watch that video. Even if she had, even okay, he said she was going to pour the water on me, on him at the time. Even if she had poured that hot water on the guy, that guy was not going to die. There's no way he's going to die from hot water burn. It doesn't work like that. You do understand? So,
Right.
to the very large extent, and then again, and beneath all of this, we cannot hide the fact that there is a level of animosity and hatred amongst different, people in the society and different stratas and cultures and religions and all of that. So all of this, hides under the fact that now I have a gun, I'm a cop, and you, I don't like your people, and I don't like you. So I'm looking at and watching you. So someone does something to me down the road that looks like you. When I see someone that looks like you next time, I want to like just pounce on you.
Members of SWAT, the FBI, SEALs, all of those that have gone through military training, the level of training, the sophistication of training they, went through, gives them the ability to target certain areas, the human body to, pin you down or demobilize you, as the case may seem. Now, I think we give the police too much credit because a lot of them are just graduates from high school. They join the police, and then if you go to a shooting range, they're always telling you aim for the broad part. So everybody's looking for your chest. Nobody's trying to pick your limb at the point in time. And then what baffles me is, and to allude to what you said, is people empty their rounds into people. If you are just shooting to demobilize someone, one shot is fine, not 8, 9, 10. So these people, not only are they trigger happy, I feel they lack the requisite training to be policemen. And there's an argument. You rightly said the police needs reorientation, but there is a policy position on that between both sides. Some people are the Democrats are clamoring for defunding the police. Now, the Republicans are saying no. If we defund the police, we're going to give room to a rise in crime. And California is an example where, if you shoplift, for pick up any item that's less than $950, the police cannot arrest you. And we've seen how law and order has broken down in such communities. I feel that Black people, again, we need to, I know there are movements like Black Lives Matter and all of that. These organizations come up, they eventually take on a political face. And the moment politics enters into some sort of social justice movement, it becomes colorized in many ways. There are people with interest will hijack these organizations and use them to pursue personal interest. But for someone like Jerin, for someone like the lady who even if she had poured hot water on him, for Brianna Taylor, for Amadou Diallo, I said Africans don't get shot, but Amadou was killed.
Yes.
I took my kids to see where George Floyd was murdered. For all of those people,
Wow.
I cannot breathe. I suffer from some sort of, I don't know whether it's claustrophobia, but when I feel like I'm restrained and I cannot move my body, I start to shake. You said something about parents telling their children to comply. Look, let me tell you, Kabuchi, and I'm not trying to, go against what you said or defend any of the policemen or anybody that has reacted to police brutality. There is a level of dehumanization that occurs when you are being confronted by someone who has a gun and thinks you are nothing. I was left in the cold. I committed no offense. He put me in front, called for backup. They searched my car without the warrant. They did all of that. As much as I tried not to be resistant in any way, I felt like a dog, like I was in a canine vehicle. When you guess, and our body reacts to these things. I was talking to my friend in Dallas the other day, and she was explaining something called epigenetic something, where after a certain period of constant fear by your body, you start to release certain hormones that become genetic that you can pass to your children. So when you see Black people sometimes living in fear, is as a result of trauma from previous generations. You know, so it's I don't think a white man can be 45 years old and may have never encountered a police stop in his entire life. No black man can say that. You know, so these things are institutional and they're deliberate, because even when they are trying to, you ask yourself, what about the black guys who are now blue? They have unions. You know, they have the unions that fight all these reforms, because for some reason, police are the only one, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, who still are entitled to pension and all of that. Why the rest of us deal with the fraud called 401k? Do you understand what I'm talking about? America needs to deal with it, and every black person, every voice has to stand up to fight the dehumanization that people suffer in the hands of the police. And Jerin, I'm very sorry that you had to encounter that and go through. It's not something any human being should face, you know, and I'm hoping, you know, when this comes out, people can lend their voice to ensuring, because justice for one is justice for all, you know, and I'm hoping that the platform offers you the kind of relief and succor that you seek, and that we've contributed one way or the other to ensuring that you get justice and that this is not repeated.
I refuse to be afraid, you know. And I am just straight up, but they not gonna see it. You know, it's the only thing they could do is subdue me. Like, I get they killing us left and right, but guess what? We've been dying. I had a teacher at the Dub, a gay man. Gay man brought me in his office and he didn't give me a grade because I wouldn't let him suck my.
What?
So Dr. Dubose was having sex with a couple of people at our school that was men.
Boy,
So
oh boy.
we used to miss. He was a black Dr. Dubose. I think he didn't go because I told my mama about it and we tried to sue him because I left the school because of that. That's why I just upped and left and
That's why
didn't
you left
get a degree.
randomly.
Yeah, that's why I left. He was super duper weird, man. He had a Jerry curl and these big ass glasses, bro.
Ah,
And the
wow.
teammates, and he tried to he snitched on some of my teammates, trying to tell me, man, it's okay. Your other teammates do it. You know, just get the grade and you ain't even got to come back. I'm like, hell no.
Yeah.
I left about the class. I mean, I left about his office because he told me to come to his office so I could make up work. That's how it got me in his office. So I go to the office and this trying to do some other, walk behind me, close the door, want to tell me what he want to do. I say, man, I ain't like that, bro. I just want to do the work. I'd rather do the work, man. He say, well, you already here now. Oh man. I ain't read about the outside. But see,
Oh boy.
I knew what he was up to, so I brought my little recorder in there, and then I brought the recorder to the dean. So they not gonna tell. So that's why they fired Dr. Dubose. He got fired. They fired his ass. So I got all my receipts. I just want to tell the truth. Yeah, I just ain't gonna be a part of it. He died like a year later because I tried to go back and sue him in the civil court, but I don't know what he died from.
Did you know he was gay at the time? Before then?
Yeah, I knew he was gay. It's hard to be black out here, man.
Like
Now
everything
I
is
feel
just
like
stacked up against you, man. Now you gotta be gay just to be alive too, to get some damn grade.
You had to leave school.
Bro, like I can't cook, man. I can't catch up. You
Oh
gotta be gay
God.
just to get some damn grade too. That too? Come on.
yeah, man.
Unfortunately, there is a lot of well, let me say there is some tension between African Americans and Africans, and it keeps increasing. And it's so heartbreaking to see. I'm not judging any side. I understand their reasons, but I also feel like, you know, we're just generalizing at this point. But the truth is we have far more in common than we do not, right? If I'm drawing parallels, we just had the anniversary of NSARS. NSARS was after the George Floyd killing. It all happened during the pandemic, the George Floyd
Same here.
protest. And then NSARS happened in October 2020. And you had the Rihannas, you had Kanye West, you had people globally standing up for Nigerians because it was a fight against police brutality in Nigeria. People just being killed for no reason. People being picked on. See, now it's one thing for, say, a Caucasian man doing it, but when you have your own people, like the story you just shared, your own caller, you know what I mean, doing that to you, it's just so heartbreaking.
Yeah. It make it more personal, you know.
Yeah.
Well, we all look alike. Like you say, we wouldn't know if y'all wouldn't talk. Like I heard somebody said, you know, they went over there. The only reason why they went to the only reason why they knew they was from America because somebody asked them a question and he spoke. You
There's
know,
the
that's the
accent, yeah.
only difference because you look just like my friend, you know, who
There's the
stayed
accent.
with me. You know what I'm saying? So I we're gonna have to come to some common ground. See, we can't do it apart. Now that we have the internet and we have AI, guess what? We can all talk to each other and tell the truth.
I think not all policemen or all departments should bear arms. There should be a department for like mental cases and all that. You don't have when someone calls you that, hey, I have a grandma who is losing it and she has a mental problem. She hasn't taken her med and all of that. She's just going off and all. She might be going through, different stages of mental problem. There are different level of madness. You don't. The cop doesn't have to go there with a gun. You could go there with something else, anything. The main thing you're going there to do is to make sure that you can maybe get them help, call the ambulance or see how you can get them, together, get them put together until that. Why are you laughing? Why you laugh? Why is it funny,
You know
HB?
why I'm
Yeah.
laughing? Because
Why?
when we were younger in Nigeria,
Yeah.
there used to be some policemen that they used to call Kondo Olopa. They never had
Yeah.
guns. They
They
used to
don't, they don't, you don't have to have
be
guns.
They
Yeah.
had
just
sticks.
They have
constables. They
that.
would only hold that, wooden baton, right? And
That's
that
what, yeah.
was it. So
That was,
when you said some shouldn't bear arms, just
yeah,
reminded
not all departments
Olopa
should bear
days.
arms. Like,
To add to what you said, Kabuchi,
yeah.
I don't know if you've encountered or seen any of these animal rescue videos, where they're trying to, RSPCA or any of these organizations are trying to rescue a very violent animal.
Yeah.
They're always extremely patient.
The most they do is tranquilize the animal.
Yes, they are most, so I keep asking myself, if you're this patient with an animal that has the potential to maim and kill more than one person at a time, why can't you just exercise the same level of restraint when you're dealing with a fellow human being?
I used to be the type that would approach cops. I didn't know you weren't supposed to do that, but it used to work because I just talked my way out of a ticket, right? Not that I got pulled over a lot, but I always had the magic, like nobody could ever give me a
As
ticket
a fine girl.
until one African American gave me a ticket somewhere in Atlanta. He didn't want to hear nothing. I
As a
think I was
fine girl,
going like
calm down.
he didn't care. And then I went to the court, trying to talk to the judge, and she was like, if you don't get, man, I was so embarrassed. That's the only time I ever got a ticket in my life. But anyway, I used to come out and then the cops would be so understanding. I'm talking even, I think they were all Caucasian. Until one night I met a certain man and it was like, freeze right there. And I was like, what? And he pulled out a gun and I froze. I was like, what did I do? So I literally froze. And then he redirected me and then, because I didn't know any better. So that was the last time I ever approached the cop because I thought I could just, talk to them. But he literally pulled out his gun. Anyway, in
And a
Nigeria,
woman,
huh?
crazy, crazy. I was just agreeing with you, like at a woman, like you posed him a threat for no reason, but people be
Yeah.
wanting authority. I'm sorry, that's just what.
If I had done too much or said anything else, I believe he would have done what he needed to do, I guess. So in Nigeria, I remember a night I used to host a show with Manny. Kabuchi ended up hosting the show after I left. And then it was like a midnight show. Manny is a media personality in Nigeria. It was like a midnight show. I was just driving, going back to my apartment, and this cop pulled me over. 'Cause one thing about where I come from, I can't speak of other parts of Africa. A cop is going to pull you over just for whatever. You don't have to have anything wrong. They literally would pull you over. And that was part of why, that was weaponized. And that's why people had to fight police brutality because people are literally getting killed and robbed by cops. It's still happening.
Yeah.
Still happening. The
Yeah.
people who were protesting they ended up being suppressed. So there was a massacre of those protesting against police brutality. Yeah. So that night, he was asking me questions, clearly very drunk. And I'm standing there like, what does this man want? And he was talking about checking my car. So at this point, I'm just confused. And I think I was kind of questioning him a little bit. But the fact that I did that, the next thing he proceeds to do is call me the A word, which means prostitute, ashawo. That's usually the go-to. They call you a prostitute. Like, dude, because I'm a woman driving a car, seemingly doing okay, I had to have made the money by sleeping with somebody. Like it was just, and that just triggered me. So Manny, I remember being shaken, but and then he waved his gun. He was just talking to me, just waving his gun, just recklessly. So it got called out by Manny on Cool FM, which is a major radio station in Nigeria, and they kept calling him out until at some point the police, they took care of it or whatever. But that was just weird. But the point I'm making is, in the two instances I've shared, at least where I approached the officer and he pulled out a gun, and then this man just waving a gun at me, I could literally have gotten shot and
True.
nobody would have cared. Not to minimize the African American experience, but now imagine that happening in a place where there's more of an anarchy. How crazy that can be. Because you literally can get pulled over. You could just be in your car, and God forbid, like the woman who was pregnant with twins and got shot by some stray bullet from a cop and died with twins in her.
Yeah.
And then I remember being mocked by an American cop.
Mocked over what?
So I think this man thought he was going to switch lanes, and I was trying to switch lanes, and then you know what I mean?
Oh,
but
shit.
that man straight up brushed me. It was so obvious. Anyway, the cop comes, and then I'm there trying to explain. And then I trafficated. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm like, officer, what's wrong? What's the problem? That's not even a word. That was how I found out that traffication was not a word.
Light, it's on your light.
And I'm like, is this the time to give me an English lesson? I got triggered by that because I was just like it was very condescending. You're supposed to literally come help the situation, but you come at me trying to school me. Like, I remember feeling this big after I was done with that situation. And then he didn't even fault the guy. He didn't fault me either. It was just weird.
But really, that point at that moment in time is not the time to start learning English 101. But and then again, I think it was. I don't think it was even trying to correct you that your English was wrong or right. I think it was more of the fact that in America they have their ways of saying some words.
It doesn't mean
like
anything.
He was condescending.
Diversity and inclusion means I'm coming here with my understanding of the language the way it applies to me. Will I acknowledge yours? Yes. Should you jettison mine or pretend that it doesn't exist? No.
I was at the mall one time, right, and I saw a line, right, and like for a moment I forgot Americans call it line. So I was asking the guy, "Are you on the queue? Are you on the queue?" He was looking at me like, "Are you on the queue?" I got mad. It was my girl that came. My babe was like, "No, baby." I said, "Oh yeah, are you on the line?" He said, "Yeah, I'm on the line." I said, "Why you got?" I said, "Why? I tell you on the queue." And say, "Nah." Just not like this. I don't vex.
You know the funny
because I don't understand queue.
If that same guy
queue to queue up.
If that same guy that told you that he doesn't know what a queue is goes to maybe the UK or Nigeria and is asking, is there anybody on the line? And they say, oh, the queue, he's going to try to tell them that it is called the line. He's not going to accept that.
That's Americans.
I'm just telling you, they hold a series in America, they call it World Series. Well, World Series where? Do you understand? There's this superimposition of the culture, the language, the way it's being pronounced or used here. And what that does, and you do not understand it, the subtlety behind that and the power it has, it puts you on the defensive all the time, even when you are not wrong. So I'm always against that. If you do not know that slippers are flip-flops or flip-flops are slippers, expand your knowledge of the language and understand that it's not the same everywhere. Australia, the things they say in Australia are different from the things they say. Unfortunately, Black people, we've lost our language trying to align with all this global nonsense. Yeah, it's
well said, my brother Habib. Well said. It's like when you in Rome, do as the Romans. That's what most of the Caucasians might understand. When you in Rome, do as the Romans. Or when you in Africa or Nigeria, do as I'm not gonna come to just say you invited me to your spot and we're in Nigeria. I'm not finna come over there and try to impose on nothing that's going against your culture and what you know best. I'm finna follow you. Now, if something happen, I'll be like, damn, I don't know what to do, bro. What I need to do. We can't go to other people's places and think that we rule it. That's what the problem with most Americans. Like, we think we rule everything. And I'm putting myself in the category I understand about inclusion. I want us all to get along, but y'all right, man. We be everybody trying to rule everything. We can't rule everything. This ain't Rome. We ain't got kings no more. United States is trying to create kings, and no, every man for himself. Just don't mess over nobody else.
True that.
You know, there's one thing about the branding that America has done is they've done it in two ways. There's internal branding and there is external branding. They've perfected the act of external branding that everyone else in the world feels that wherever they're from is trash, and America is the go-to place. Americans who are internal, who still use firewood to cook, to use firewood to heat up their spaces, would also believe that America is the main thing all over the world and nowhere else exists. So whosoever is running this branding stuff is doing an excellent job because they're maintaining two different, narratives that have kept everybody thinking that this is a great country. I'm not going to take away that. This is one of the few countries in the world where you can start with nothing and become very great. However, there's a lot of injustice in this country. There's a lot of discrimination in this country. A lot of things happening to people of color in this country, and it needs to be addressed. And I also wanted to say, as much as we've spoken about police brutality and the rest, there are a couple of cops that are very good. Unfortunately, the bad eggs among them have given us the leeway to paint almost every cop with the same brush. However, so many cops in this country try to act right. So many cops in this country apply restraints whenever they are confronted by people. So many cops in this country, even when they have the leeway to apply maximum force, decide to be humane first before they are police officers. So let's not take away the credit for some of the cops that have shown what they should be. The police is your friend is a term that I grew up with. I've had one encounter in America where I made a U-turn in New Jersey and the guy just pulled me over and was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry. This is my birthday." And it was actually my birthday, and it just said, "Don't do that next time." So there have been instances where some cops have actually shown the essence of
Yes.
policing. They come to help you. You see them in sometimes they call them for cases that don't require the presence. They get there and they say, "No, this doesn't concern us." So let's applaud those who have continued to do the right thing. But we will continue to speak to power, speak to those who have messed up what the police force represents. And thank you for coming, Jerin. We really appreciate you gracing our show. We hope that you have the platform, rather this platform is giving a voice to your concern and struggle. And I pray that you find the succor you desire from this. And Gloria, thank you for extending the fellowship of the Tribe Africa to Jerin as well.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it, my brother. I appreciate everybody, man. Just to be heard, that was what me and Gloria talked about. I don't know what I want out of it, but like just for people to hear me. I feel like I be speaking on deaf ears sometimes, but I'm not, because y'all listen. And we can talk about it and move forward. Like think positive and move forward is what a good friend of mine says. But um I appreciate y'all, man. Maybe we can do this again about another topic that's,
Sure. Yeah.
actually happy.